90,000 years ago, a sound broke the silence of the African night, and every human being who heard it turned toward it. Not away, toward it. That single reaction, that refusal to look away from the unknown, may be the reason you exist at all. Somewhere in the dark, a branch snapped. It wasn't the wind. Wind doesn't pause between steps. Wind doesn't wait. The humans crouched near the fire heard it, and something ancient inside them lit up before their conscious minds even understood why. Heart rate climbing, breath shallow, eyes locked on the tree line, every hair on the body standing at attention like 1,000 tiny antennae. This wasn't fear in the way we use the word today. This was a full body verdict delivered in milliseconds by a nervous system that had one single brutal job: keep this body alive long enough to pass on its blueprint. And here's the part that should unsettle you. That nervous system is still inside you right now, unchanged, unedited, running the exact same software in a world that no longer needs it. Modern life has convinced us that we are rational creatures who occasionally feel fear. The truth is more disturbing than that. We are fear-processing machines who occasionally feel rational, because for nearly the entire span of human existence, ignoring a strange sound wasn't bravery, it was a death sentence. Think about the mathematics of survival on the savannah. A rustle in the grass could be wind, it could be a bird, or it could be a leopard, low to the ground, patient, already 3 seconds from your throat. If you heard that rustle and assumed it was nothing, and you were right, you saved a little energy. You didn't have to tense up, didn't have to scan the horizon, didn't have to interrupt your evening, but if you heard that rustle and assumed it was nothing and you were wrong, there was no second chance, no do-over, no lesson learned for next time. Just silence where a person used to be. This is the asymmetry that built your brain. Evolution doesn't reward accuracy, it rewards survival. And a nervous system that overreacts to danger 1,000 times for the one time it's real will always outlive a nervous system that stays calm and gets it wrong even once. So natural selection did something ruthless. It didn't build a brain that calmly weighs probabilities. It built a brain that assumes the worst first and asks questions later. A paranoid brain. A brain that would rather insult 1,000 harmless shadows than miss one real predator. You are the descendant of the ones who flinched. Every single ancestor in your bloodline, going back over 100,000 years, was a person who took the unexplained sound seriously enough to survive it. The ones who shrugged it off, the calm ones, the confident ones, the ones who told themselves it was probably nothing. They didn't get to have children. Their genes ended in the grass that same night without ceremony. That's the quiet, uncomfortable truth sitting underneath your anxiety. It isn't a malfunction. It's an inheritance. But this is where it gets stranger. Because early humans didn't just react to strange sounds, they obsessed over them. They built entire belief systems around the unexplained. Anthropologists studying isolated hunter-gatherer societies have observed something remarkable. Communities that treat an unexplained noise in the night not as a minor event but as a message, something to be interpreted, something with meaning. A sound without a source becomes a spirit. A predator without a face becomes a demon. A silence that lasts too long becomes an omen. And here's the part almost nobody talks about. This wasn't superstition layered on top of survival instinct. This was survival instinct evolving into something new, something that would eventually become religion, storytelling, and the very idea of meaning itself. Because once your brain treats the unknown as significant, once it refuses to let ambiguity go unexplained, you've created the first spark of something extraordinary. You've created a mind that cannot tolerate mystery without resolving it. That single trait, the compulsion to explain the unexplainable, didn't just keep early humans alive on any given night. It built civilization. Every myth about thunder gods, every ritual to ward off darkness, every campfire story about the thing that lives beyond the tree line, all of it traces back to the same neurological reflex that made your ancestors freeze at the sound of a snapping branch. But then something strange happened. Something that separates humans from almost every other species on Earth. We didn't just react to the unknown sound, we started seeking it out. Curiosity. That same electric jolt that once meant possible death mutated into something else entirely. It became pleasure. It became addiction. It became the reason you're still watching this video right now. Think about that for a second. The exact neurological circuit that once screamed danger at an unexplained noise in the dark is the same circuit lighting up in your brain when a story leaves a question unanswered. When a video says, "but that's not even the disturbing part," and you don't skip ahead. When silence stretches half a second too long and your whole body leans in. You are not passively watching this. Some ancient part of you is standing at the edge of a dark tree line, waiting to find out what made the sound. And this is where the real horror sets in. Not the horror of predators or darkness, the horror of realizing how little distance actually separates you from that human crouched by the fire 90,000 years ago. You still flinch at unexpected noises in your own home at night. You still feel your pulse spike when a hallway light flickers. You still lie awake, listening, when something creaks that shouldn't creak. Modern architecture, modern locks, modern security systems. None of it has convinced your nervous system that the danger is gone. Because your nervous system was never designed to be convinced. It was designed to keep suspecting. Here's the part that should genuinely disturb you. The same mechanism that once protected your ancestors from leopards is now being deliberately triggered thousands of times a day by algorithms that have reverse-engineered your ancient fear response for profit. Notifications that ping without context, headlines that withhold the outcome. Videos, like this one, that promise a part almost nobody talks about, and then make you wait for it. You are being hunted, gently, by systems that understand your prehistoric brain better than you do. This isn't really about ancient humans anymore. It never fully was. This is about the terrifying continuity between who you were and who you are. The version of you that flinches at a strange sound in an empty house is not a modern glitch. It's the oldest part of you, still on duty, still scanning the dark, still assuming the worst because the worst is what kept your bloodline alive. Every anxious thought you've ever dismissed as irrational was actually a message from 10,000 generations of ancestors who didn't have the luxury of dismissing it. And maybe that's the most unsettling reframe of all. We like to think of fear as a weakness, something to overcome, something primitive holding us back from being our best, most rational selves. But fear is not the opposite of intelligence. Fear is the oldest form of intelligence we have. It processed threat before language existed. It made decisions before logic existed. It kept a lineage of fragile, slow, clawless apes alive on a continent full of things that wanted to eat them. You are not broken because you still flinch at the dark. You are functioning exactly as designed by 100,000 years of relentless, unforgiving selection. The tragedy, if there is one, is that the world changed faster than your biology could keep up. The predators are mostly gone. The nights are mostly safe. But the alarm system inside you doesn't know that. It's still listening for the branch that snaps. It's still ready to sacrifice your comfort, your sleep, your peace of mind for a threat that, statistically, will probably never come. And so you live suspended between two worlds. A body built for the savannah. A life built for the city. A nervous system tuned to a frequency of danger that mostly no longer exists, still broadcasting its warning into a silence that has nothing left to say. Maybe that's what it means to be human. Not the ability to reason. Not the capacity for language or tools or civilization. Maybe it's simpler and darker than that. Maybe being human means carrying a fire-lit memory of every ancestor who ever turned toward a sound in the dark instead of away from it, and never being able to fully put it down. So the next time something creaks in your house at 2 a.m. and your entire body goes rigid before your mind even catches up, don't call it irrational. Call it inheritance. Because somewhere, in the deepest, oldest layer of your mind, a fire is still burning, and something is still listening in the dark, waiting to find out if this is the night the branch snaps for real.